Folks, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Welcome to the July 24th, 2017 meeting of the Shawnee County Board of Commissioners. My name is Bob Archer. I currently serve as chair of the commission and represent District 3, alongside Commissioner Shelley Bueller, who represents District 1, and Commissioner Kevin Cook, who represents District 2. Good morning.
Good morning.
Welcome, everyone. First item of business, please.
First item is item 3, consent agenda.
There are 6 items on the consent agenda. Are there questions or concerns?
I have none. I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the consent agenda by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 4, new business, A, County Clerk, number 1, consider all voucher payments.
Commissioners, this morning we have vouchers that total $787,251.82. The highlights out of the voucher report for the Shawnee County Sheriff, there's $129,060.55. That has to deal with Axon cameras, and I believe those are in-car cameras, and those are on contract. We have building maintenance of $102,497.63. Holding accounts with the state of Kansas for the motor vehicle fund of $118,563.46. Health insurance premiums of $115,037. And finally, Parks and Recreation, $95,242.63. Those make up the highlights of the vouchers, and I would move for their approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the vouchers by Commissioner Cook, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item A2, consider correction orders.
I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the correction orders by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. And that motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B, Public Works Solid Waste, number 1, consider authorization and execution of contract C241-2017 with Bartlett & West for engineering design services, construction documents, and construction staking for the Timber Ridge Subdivision Street Improvement Phase 4 at a total cost of $60,600.
Commissioners, Tom Blanc with Public Works and Solid Waste. This item, as well as the next one, are related. This item here before you, Doltmeyer Homes or Doltmeyer Construction is doing the 4th phase of the Timber Ridge subdivision, which is located roughly a half mile east of 53rd and Wanamaker Road in that quadrant there. They have selected Bartlett & West to do their services for them. As part of this project, they want to have some assistance from the county taking out bonds to finance the street improvements, at which those street improvement costs will then be assessed back to the properties. So that's what this is all about, is when they are taking out bonding by way of the county, then Public Works Department gets involved and helps administers that contract. So that is what we are doing here. This is commonplace with these types of projects. And there's nothing new or anything out of the norm, so it was our recommendation that this be approved. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I do have a question. We require security when we do an issue like this, don't we, Tom?
Yes, we do.
Okay. And that hasn't always been the practice of, like, the city of Topeka, for example.
I guess I can't really speak to what the city does. The county always has.
Okay.
Yes, up until they provide a surety bond, and then it is up until, I believe it's like 50% of the homes have been sold, or the lots have been sold to a third party or a separate entity. Then they can get their surety bond back. But there are provisions in place. There are provisions in place to protect against any financial loss.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking of some city projects that didn't turn out so good, and then they didn't have any backup like we typically do. Is that County Councilor, do you want to address that? I want to make sure that the public knows that we're covered.
Yeah, it's my understanding, Jim Crouch, Shawnee County Councilor, we've had a resolution in place since, I believe, 1993, the last time I reviewed that, and I just reviewed a letter of credit, irrevocable letter of credit for this project to make sure it complied with that resolution. So yeah, we have a resolution in place that requires either a surety or a letter of credit or some sort of financial backing on the developer so that if we go into a recession and the economy goes south and a development doesn't build out, we're covered and we're not, the taxpayers at large are not stuck with specials. I think the situation you're talking about would be Lawrence Bay. That's within the city limits, and that exact scenario happened when the 2008 recession hit, and they had specials. You know, they had put in infrastructure for this development. The city taxpayers at large funded that, and now they're having difficulty getting those specials paid. They didn't have a resolution in place or an ordinance in place like our resolution at that time. I believe they did adopt one after that, so they have one now, I think.
Okay. Yeah, maybe I was being a little ambiguous, but that's exactly what I was talking about, and that's what constituents bring up to me all the time.
Correct.
Okay. Thank you. Any other questions?
No, I have none. I'll move approval of the contract.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Bueller, seconded by Commissioner Cook. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item B2, consider authorization and execution of contract C242-2017 with Bartlett and West for construction engineering services for the Timber Ridge subdivision street improvements, Phase 4, at a total cost of $44,400.
Hi, Commissioners, Tom Block again with Public Works and Solid Waste. This is just a follow-up. This is the contract for Bartlett and West to provide the construction services as part of this same project. So it's the same type of situation where the developer selected their engineering consultant, and we are basically just administering the contract on their behalf. So if there's any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
I'll move to approve.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0.
Thank you.
Tom. Next item, please.
Item C, Parks and Recreation. Number 1, consider approval of Shawnee County Parks and Recreation Advisory Advocate Board bylaws.
Good morning, Commissioner Randy Luby with Shawnee County Parks and Recreation. Give you a little bit of history of our advisory board. When our 2014 master plan was completed, they highly recommended us to develop a new advisory board that would replace the board that we formed when we consolidated. If you remember, the purpose of that board back in 2012 was to protect the city assets during our consolidation period during the first 2 or 3 years. And that board served its purpose, but we did take the recommendation and developed a new board in 2015. And that board's purpose focused more on 4 committees. We had a capital improvement committee, a accreditation committee, implementation of the master plan committee, and community relations. And for all part, the Capital Improvement Committee did excellent. As you're aware of, Jim Martin headed that committee. We did really a good job, and the accreditation also was pretty good. But the other 2 are kind of having a hard time getting started. So L.J. Polly, the chair of our board, who is here, developed an ad hoc committee, and Jim Martin chaired that committee. They looked at the bylaws to see if we can address the bylaws in a way that would make the board run more efficiently, and they came up with what you see before you today. The main difference there is we have focus areas for advocates in maybe 9 different areas instead of just the 4. We have them community centers, aquatics, green spaces, parks, besides capital improvement accreditation. We're finding out a lot of our board members have interest in different areas that we didn't know. For instance, Kent Pellegrino, he basically had an aquatics background back in his younger days. We're finding out that by splitting it up and narrowing it down to specific areas, we're going to have better input from our advisory board. And again, the whole purpose of doing this was just to have our advisory board run as efficient as possible. LJ is here. If we have any questions, we'd be glad to answer them.
Questions? Any comment, LJ?
I do have one. I always like to recognize the people that did the work. As Randy mentioned, it wasn't too surprising to me when I called for a chair for this that Jim Martin was the one who stepped forward. And I want to give a great deal of credit to Jim. He's been a tremendous asset to the county over the last 18 months. I participated, Terry Roberts participated, Joe Ledbetter, Kent Pellegrino participated, and Dick Ketterman. And I want to publicly thank all those people for their time and effort. And if there's no questions, you're through with me.
Anything additional, Commissioner Cook?
Just going back to the heart of the document, which is the function of the board. And I know that this has been here, but just to kind of repeat it. The role of the board member shall include providing and applying personal experience, expertise, critical analysis of counsel, and advice of proposals or for proposals and issues associated with the implementation of the 2015 master plan by Shawnee County Parks and Rec. And I think that's really what we at the heart wanted and expected, was that we would have individuals in the community that would be able to apply that personal experience and expertise and critical analysis to assist the Parks and Rec as we implement the master plan. And that's what we've seen over the last year and a half. And so really this bylaws extends that, and it helps Parks and Rec and helps us by that extension.
Thank you.
I have anything further to add? I'll move approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve by Commissioner Bueller and seconded by Commissioner Cook, with all our thanks. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you, Randy. Thank you, LJ. Thank you, Ken.
Thanks for being here this morning.
Yes, thank you. Next item, please.
Item C2, consider authorization and execution of contract C243-2017 with Meredith Corporation to provide ad space in the 2018 Kansas Travel Guide at a cost of $2,995 for a quarter-page ad with funding from the 2017 budget.
Good morning, Commissioners. Randy Luby again. We've done this ad before, but this is the first time they've asked us to have a contract on it. And again, I'll bring you back to planning for our master plan back in 2014. We held many public engagement meetings, and one of the areas that they thought we were weak in was our marketing of our programs and getting the word out. I feel the department has made huge strides in assisting and getting better at this. We started a business division. We hired a communications director, and we was in charge of the marketing. And I think it's evident that with the accolades we received from Lake Shawnee being the destination point of all of Kansas, that we are doing a much better job. So with that, I ask you to approve this contract.
Are we working with Visit Topeka?
Yes.
In contracts?
Yes.
That was my only question. Any other?
That was mine as well.
Oh, okay.
I'll move for approval.
Second.
Motion made to approve the contract by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no. Motion carries 3-0. Again, thank you, Randy.
Thank you.
Next item, please.
Item D, Administrative Services, number 1, acknowledge the notice of budget hearing to be printed in the Topeka Capital Journal for the public budget hearing scheduled for August 3rd, 2017, 5:30 p.m. in the Commission chambers.
Good morning, Betty Griner, Director of Administrative Services. This is to notify you of the publication of the notice of public budget hearing in the Capitol Journal today. Unfortunately, this is what was published today, this black square.
Talk about lack of transparency.
I do understand that it is legible online. It will be republished.
I've got calls in. I have not received a call back, but I have
So,
calls in.
yes. So hopefully it will be republished tomorrow, but it will be republished just as soon as
And it has to be
possible.
published tomorrow, so we can still keep our August 3rd hearing. So it
Ah.
will be published tomorrow. Will it not, Tim?
So, unfortunately, in the printed paper, you cannot read it, but it is online. I understand that it is legible online, and anyway, this, what has been published is the notice of the budget hearing, which will be held on Thursday, August 3rd at 5:30 here in the Commission chambers. And just to highlight some things, the amount that is shown here that would be levied is the total of all department budget requests. This is routinely how we do it each year. We show if all budget requests were granted, what the tax levy would be. Now, as all the departments know, this is not the amount that will be adopted. We will have the public hearing on August the 3rd and hear from the public. Then on August the 10th, the commission will start making decisions on specific department budgets. And then the final budget must be approved by the commission by August the 25th. I do want to point out that the county will not exceed the tax lid. That is a decision that you have made, and we would have had to have notified the clerk by July 1 if that was not the case. So we will stay within the tax lid, and the tax lid sets limits on the increase. It limits the increase to the CPI average over the prior 5 years, with exceptions. So we will not go over that tax lid. This is not the amount that will be levied, but this is just notifying the public of the budget hearing and what the levy would be if all the budget requests were granted. So, any
Very
questions?
good. Questions, Commissioner Cook?
Thank you for clarifying that. I think that reading the article in the paper, the article was very well written. Good job, Tim. But I think the headline made it appear that we were holding an intent to go over the mill levy or go over the tax lid. And I know that that's not what we had stated. I'll move approval of the public, or I guess acknowledge the notice of publication.
A second.
Motion made to acknowledge by Commissioner Cook and seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you very
Thank
much,
you.
Betty. Next item, please.
Item E, Commission, number 1, acknowledge receipt of a letter of resignation from Dennis W. O'Brien as a Shawnee, or Silver Lake Township Treasurer.
I will move to acknowledge receipt and thank Mr. O'Brien for his service to our community.
I'll second, but I would like the county counselor to go over a little bit of township, why the township submits this letter to us and why then we have to make that appointment to the township board, even though counties have limited oversight
Sure, yeah.
over townships.
Good morning again, Jim Kraus, Shawnee County Councilor. The easy answer is because that's the way the legislature wrote the law.
That's easy.
Right. We can only, as a county, exercise the authority that the Kansas legislature gives us. And in this area, they do not give us the authority to appoint an interim. All we can do is, if there is a vacancy that occurs for whatever reason, then we have to go through the same process we do at any time, which is to receive nominations and then make a permanent appointment to the board. So that's the rules that are written, and those are the rules that we have to follow.
I'm going to ask you a few more questions, because I've received quite a few phone calls about Silver Lake Township and just some of the things that are going on there. And so the ability that the commission has to have oversight over the township board or its budget, does the county commission have that right?
No, you do not. They are their own separate board, their own separate legal entity. If someone has issues with what's occurring with any township, it would be no different than if they had issues with the county or the city. They could go to their local district attorney or county attorney or to the attorney general's office, depending on the nature of the issues.
All right.
But we do not exercise independent oversight. We do not review their budget and approve it or do anything like
I
that.
just think there's often confusion about, we have to take this action, but yet then why don't we have oversight over townships? And so I just want to make sure that is clear. And we have normally given about 2 weeks for those who are interested to submit their information to the commission office, and then we would consider who to appoint. So,
Good, thank you. Thank you, Commissioner.
But
Commissioner Cook?
the same would be true for the Metropolitan Transit Authority, for the
Correct.
library board, where we make appointments to boards, but we do not have any control over what mill levy they may impose. And so township would be, it's an elected position, but when there's an
Correct.
opening, we make that appointment in that manner.
Correct. Yeah, those are all different independent boards with their own independent taxing authority that you do not have oversight over, other than to make appointments when there's vacancies or as otherwise established by law.
yeah. Okay.
Thank you.
Very good. You're welcome. Motion made to acknowledge by Commissioner Archer, seconded by Commissioner Bueller. All in favor say aye, opposed no, and that motion carries 3-0. Next item, please.
Item 5, administrative communications.
Good morning, Commissioners. Justin Gregory, Kansas Expo Center. Update on last week's events. We hosted the Shawnee County Fair, and it was a hot one. Yeah, there's no better way to say it. If you were able to come by and visit Dome Arena, the low-speed, high-volume fans that we were purchased a month ago and installed, were lifesavers, literally lifesavers. It was very nice in there. We'd open it up overnight, let the cool air in at night, and then we'd shut all the doors, and it stayed beautiful in there. So these kids growing up in central Iowa, these kids don't realize how lucky they are to have a county fair inside with shade and sun being kept out. Third Thursday, we moved that inside to Heritage Hall due to the warm temperatures. Greatly attended event. Food was wonderful. Beverages were cold. Looking forward to next month's third Thursday, and I will bring the artist's name with me next time I come on who's singing the third Thursday. And then this weekend coming up, Sunday, July 30th, we are hosting the Cap Journal Bridal Fair in Exhibition Hall. Starts at 10 a.m. and runs till 3 p.m. with the fashion show at 12:30 to 1:15. So, we'd like
And
to-
what date was that again?
Sunday the 30th.
Sunday, the 30th.
Yes, in Exhibition Hall. So, any questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you, Justin. Thank you very much. Others for administrative communications this morning? Okay. Commissioner Bueller?
I do not have anything. Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Cook?
I did have a chance to go to the fair, and it's good to see all the hard work that the young people put into their projects, and it just shows a lot of leadership ability, upcoming leaders in our community. So, thank you.
Thank you. I got nothing. Next item, please.
Item 6, executive session.
There's not a need for an executive session today, so we're officially adjourned. Thank you for attending.